Hey you! Did that Tekken 8 trailer blow your mind? Well, buckle up, because as of the recording of this video, 8 is only a few months away. For now, hold on to your joysticks, because we're about to unveil the most coveted, crowdsourced martial art for Tekken 8. Imagine Tekken 8 with a huge focus on fresh new martial arts and fresh new characters, as well as the reimagining of some old faces. Well, I went beyond that and ran a few polls in a few Tekken Facebook groups, because I wanted to know which martial arts you guys actually wanted to see in this awesome fighting game. In this series, we previously explored the history and techniques of 9 brand spanking new martial arts for Tekken. We also proposed some interesting characters to bring these fresh new fighting styles into the next game. I am the unknown Feng, and this is Silat Harimau. Wushu is an umbrella term used to describe most Chinese martial arts, while Japan historically referred to them as Buge before settling on Budo. Before World War II, most styles in Okinawa were collectively known as Te, but today, most of us just say karate. The indigenous fighting styles of the Indonesian archipelago are collectively known as Silat, with each one focusing on a specific aspect of the fight or even dance. While most call it an Indonesian martial art, that isn't entirely true, as Silat was developed in other countries such as Malaysia, southern Thailand, and even the Philippines. In the past, Pencak Silat was fairly unknown, save for a small group of martial art enthusiasts. I stumbled across Silat in the martial arts section of my local library. Ironically, a couple of years later, a peruquan opened a few blocks from my place. Guys, today I'm still kicking myself for not going to one of their classes and experiencing this martial art firsthand. Now, there have been some leaks going around that hint at a new character who could possibly be a Pendekar, but right now we just don't know. He's currently listed as Victor, a French UN agent who utilizes CQC moves. Honestly, don't know much about him, and while I think new characters are really cool, if it were up to me, I'd have gone with someone completely different. Remember Tougou? Well, he was Lars's right-hand man during Idrisal's rebellion against Jin and the Tekken Force. Many had grown disillusioned with Jin's decision to wage war against the world. On the steps of the Millennium Tower, Tougou met his end, saving Lars from an ambush from the G-Corps led by Anna Williams. Or did he? We'll discuss that as well as his possible appearance in Tekken 8 and the most ideal way to introduce the most requested martial art that viewers like you really wanted to see in the next Tekken installment. Only 78 years ago, Indonesia officially declared its independence from the Dutch, but its history stretches back over 2,000 years. A history marked by a series of warring states and upheavals, as well as invasions from the Islamic, Cholo, and Mongol empires, just to name a few. Various portions of the Indonesian archipelago were colonized by the Portuguese, Brits, Germans, with the Dutch holding on to it the longest, spanning over 3.5 centuries. There are over 18,000 islands, and around 6,000 of them are currently inhabited. The top most populated islands are Jawa, Sumatra, New Guinea, Borneo, and Sulawesi. The climate in this region usually leans towards a hot and humid tropical one, with a dry season that spans from April to September. After that, the rain arrives, bringing along the monsoons, resulting in gray skies and muddy fields. Wars and rebellion have always been a constant reality of this area, but unlike the open fields of Europe, the flooded, muddy battlegrounds demanded a totally different way of throwing down. The creation of Harimau Silat can be traced back to West Sumatra as far back as 1119. Today, Silat can be taught to anyone willing to learn, but before, it was a close-knit way of fighting, sometimes kept only within families and communities. For the Minangkabau people, warfare wasn't just a page in the history books. For nearly a millennium, it has been woven into the fabrics of their very lives. Harimau, or ground tiger fighting style, is a graceful, fluid system of combat that combines armed and unarmed techniques, allowing the fighter to fight from virtually any range. The ultimate goal usually ends with the opponent grounded by takedowns, immobilized by joint locks, and destroyed by strikes, or in extreme situations, released from this plane of existence by slashes or stabs to vital areas. Longer range weapons include a combination of indigenous as well as imported weapons from a variety of cultures. However, the keris is perhaps Indonesia's equivalent to the Japanese katana, with its design and reverence bordering on the spiritual. For unarmed attacks, most kicks you would see in other disciplines are ever present in Harimau. However, there is a twist to how they're delivered, as some kicks come straight from the ground. Punches, knees, elbows, headbutts are also included in this system. However, there are a few ways where Harimau distinguishes itself from other styles of Silat, as well as other martial arts inspired by the big cat. Muted of Harimau are able to attack from the ground in crouching or kneeling positions while delivering kicks with the agility of a tiger. The trapping range is where we really see Harimau stand out from other martial art interpretations of the tiger's attacks. From punches and elbows, masters of this style can easily move into deflection and trap the arms and wrist. From here, the easily concealed karambit can be used to slash the arms, wrists, and vital areas before the opponent even knows what happened. From crouching positions, grappling can also happen, bringing a standing opponent down for joint locks and strikes. They are the masters of using the body against itself with a keen understanding of leverage. Much like the tiger, masters of this style use attacks to close the distance, apply trapping and locks in the same way that the predator ambushes and pounces onto their prey, holding it down to finish it off with a bite to the throat or back of the neck. The OA already beat Tekken to the punch by introducing the electrifying Silat master Nico. However, it could be argued that that title actually goes to Baraka, the brutal Tarkata warrior from Mortal Kombat. Not many people are happy with Nico's portrayal of Silat, and let's try to imagine how it would fit in Tekken. Think about how each character's fighting style shapes their personality. Both Paul and Feng can generate enough power to destroy any overconfident opponent's health bar. Paul uses raw power, while Feng uses finesse and deception. Now think about Claudio and Shaheen. You can usually expect a hop kick from them with beginners using similar strategies. Harimau has so much more personality outside the game. From the judo, we see an emulation of the tiger's strength, agility, and versatility, as well as their ferocity. The Southeast Asian style would bring flair and lethality to Tekken. Moves like this would really give characters like Nina and Dragunov a run for their money. Finally, the ground fighting would be a way to challenge the style and the way that we look at levels and stances. On the Tekken character poll from Tekken Revolution, previously featured in the last episode, we talked about the sexy female Tekken Force character bringing Kaju Kenpo. Before her, we featured a reimagined Forest Law using American Kenpo. This time I think Tougou should be the one to bring Harimau Silat to Tekken. Unfortunately, we do see him succumb to his wounds after a firefight with G-Corp. Ironically, his willingness to carry only a blade in combat harkens back to Anti-Anti, a powerful belief in being invulnerable to any blade or gunfire. But what if he actually survived and made a comeback in Tekken 8? There is still a lot of room to develop the character while developing Lars as well. How long has he known Lars? Why did he choose to join Tekken Force? And what mission was Lars' breaking point? I would make him the son of a Japanese operative and a native Indonesian woman that would parallel Lars' own background. This would add more complexity to his character as well. And let's look at some possible approaches to his gameplay in Tekken. The character would need to be evasive as well as versatile. It might look something like Zafina with a few stance switches, and I would love for them to keep all of the variety from striking from the ground. Almost like Dr. B or Roger Jr. There would definitely have to be some counterattacks that lead from striking into grappling moves as well. Give him some throws from crouching, and maybe even one from lying on his back. It's no secret that I'm a fan of parries, and I think Tougou should have at least one command parry and one attack reversal, similar to Leo. I was also thinking about Yoshimitsu's different stances that allow him to use his sword or put it away. Tougou should be able to use his sword almost like a cross between Yoshimitsu and Noctis. Finally, there are tons of creative takedowns in Silat, and I think some of them should incorporate his karambit. This could also be used in his parries because a lot of the trapping does involve the karambit. Overall, this would make him a versatile, evasive character with a sword stance and karambit parry stance. As Tekken becomes more global, players from different regions are hoping to see a character representing their country and fighting style. Sometimes this works really well, as we saw in the past with Eddie Gordo and Capoeira. Other times it doesn't. Indonesia is a diverse country with an amazing thriving culture. Japan and Indonesia have a long, complicated history. Making Tougou a combination of Japanese and Indonesian would really bridge the two characters while highlighting one of the most unique martial arts out there. While there has been a huge presence of Taekwondo, boxing, karate, kung fu, and wrestling, adding another Silat character that the fighting game community could get their thumbs on would really reflect on Tekken's inclusion and love for its international gaming community.
You blocked me on Facebook, and now you're going to die.
Thank you all for your votes and support. It feels weird finally ending this series, but I'm really happy to see it come to a conclusion. I may do something like this in the future, but it'll definitely be top 5 this time. I would like to dedicate this video to Kimura Hana. While I never met her personally, we did ride that dreaded Tozai line here in Tokyo together quite a bit. She was a beautiful soul born to a Japanese mother and Indonesian father. This young girl would overcome bully to start a promising career in Japanese pro wrestling. Thanks for watching. God bless each and every one of you. Feng Wei. Out.
Yeah, you can play with me one time, baby.